Welcome to the Lincoln Bio Podcast, your one-stop destination for life-changing insights on health, wealth, legal education, relationships, and more. Ready to level up? Let's dive into the knowledge designed to transform your life.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going deep, really deep, into a topic that's gaining more and more traction, especially in the athletic world. We're diving into veganism.
Sounds interesting.
It is. We'll be exploring Vegan Warrior, Green Athletic Fitness Blueprint, breaking down the science, the myths, and really everything you need to know to, well, fuel your performance using plants. And get this, there are some surprising facts here. Like, seriously surprising.
Like what?
Well, did you know there's a study, a real study, showing people on a vegan diet, they lost significantly more weight.
Really? Compared to what?
Than a bunch of other popular diets. We're talking about 9.3 pounds more on average. Pretty impressive, right?
Yeah, 9 pounds. That's a lot. That is impressive. The weight loss is great and all, but the really fascinating thing about veganism, it goes way beyond just our own health.
Oh, I think so.
It impacts, like, the whole planet, big picture stuff.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. Tell me more about that. Why is going vegan such a big deal for the environment? I'm curious.
Well, there was this UN report, a pretty recent one, calling for this global shift, moving away from animal products.
The UN. Wow, that's big.
Yeah, and it's all because of the environmental impact of all those animal products. The UN, they're recognizing that what we choose to eat, it plays a major role in climate change. It's not just a small thing.
That's a pretty sobering thought.
Yeah.
What makes animal products so unsustainable, though? I mean, we've been eating meat forever, haven't we?
We have, but think about this. Literally half of all the world's crops, they're used to feed livestock.
Wait, half? Seriously?
It's a half. Just imagine all those resources, all that agriculture, it's all going towards producing meat. And honestly, it's just not the most efficient way to feed everyone, especially with the population growing like crazy.
And it's going to keep growing. By 2050, there'll be like 9 billion people on the planet. So meat production will be under even more pressure.
Exactly. And that's where veganism has a real chance to shine. Switching to more plant-based diets, it could significantly ease that burden on the planet. Less water usage, preserving land, even cutting down on fossil fuels. It all adds up.
So you're saying that even small changes to our diets, like just eating a little less meat, could help the environment?
Absolutely. Imagine if everyone just cut back a little. All those small changes, they would make a huge difference, I think.
That's a pretty compelling argument for giving veganism a try. Okay, but let's be real. A lot of people, especially athletes, they have concerns about going vegan. Like, will they get enough protein? What about calcium? All those essential nutrients. Let's tackle those head on.
Let's do it. I think one of the biggest misconceptions out there is that a vegan diet, it can't give you all the nutrients you need. But honestly, a well-planned vegan diet, it's packed with good stuff. Fiber, potassium, antioxidants, folate, all the good stuff.
Okay, so it's not about lacking nutrients. It's about knowing where to find them.
Exactly. And Vegan Warrior, this book we're talking about, it has some great examples like spinach. 1 cup has 7 grams of protein.
Whoa, 7 grams. That's more than I thought. But what about calcium? Isn't that a big concern for vegans?
It can be, but there are so many non-dairy sources that are packed with calcium. Hemp milk, leafy greens, nuts, all great choices. And don't forget, fortified soy milk and tofu, those are calcium powerhouses.
It seems like with a little planning and the right knowledge, you can totally nail your nutrition on a vegan diet.
You definitely can. And the cool thing is there are all these added health benefits, too.
Oh, yeah. Like, what? Are those real or just hype?
They're real. There's a bunch of research showing vegans, they often have better blood sugar regulation, their kidneys function better, and get this, they even experience less pain from arthritis. That's because plant-based foods, they're full of anti-inflammatory compounds.
Wait, so going vegan could help with inflammation. That's huge, especially for athletes who are constantly pushing their bodies.
It can be a game changer. Speaking of athletes, I think it's time we talk about some of the real-life vegan warriors out there. People who are crushing it in their sports on a plant-based diet.
Oh, I'm all ears. Bring on the inspiration.
Okay, so picture this. Venus Williams, tennis legend, diagnosed with Sjögren's syndrome back in 2011. It's an autoimmune disease, pretty serious, and it almost ended her career.
Yeah, I remember that. But she came back stronger than ever.
She did, and you know what she credits for? Her amazing comeback.
What's that?
A raw vegan lifestyle. Pretty amazing, right? It just shows you the power of plants.
Wow, her body basically healed itself. Are there other big-name athletes who are vegan? It still seems kind of rare, especially in pro sports.
It might seem rare, but there are more than you think. Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight boxing champion, vegan.
No way. Mike Tyson, the knockout king, fueled by plants. That's wild.
I know, right? He lost over 100 pounds, reversed his arthritis, and says his energy levels are through the roof. And then there's Mick Dancy. He's an MMA fighter. Now, MMA, it's not exactly known for being vegan-friendly.
You're telling me. So how did he end up going vegan? I'm curious.
He felt like he wasn't performing at his best, wanted to try something different, and guess what? His training improved, his overall health improved. He's a powerful athlete, fueled by plants.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued. So it's not just about surviving on a vegan diet, it's about thriving.
Exactly. And we can't forget Hank Aaron, baseball legend, long and successful career. His story speaks volumes about how good a plant-based lifestyle can be. And then there's Tony Gonzalez, the NFL star. He actually struggled a bit when he first went vegan.
Really? What happened? I thought he was all about veganism.
He is, but his story is a great example of why doing veganism right is so important. At first, he lost a ton of weight and strength, felt weak. He didn't quite understand the whole nutrition side of things for a vegan athlete. He was just cutting stuff out without replacing it properly.
That makes sense. It's not just about what you're not eating, but what you are eating.
Exactly. Once he figured that out, started eating more plant-based proteins, his strength came back, and he ended up setting NFL records.
What a comeback. It's clear that fueling your body as a vegan athlete, it's a whole science in itself. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do vegan athletes actually get all the nutrients they need to perform at their best?
I'm glad you asked. That's where Vegan Warrior really comes in handy. It's all about swapping animal products for nutrient-rich alternative.
Sounds like a puzzle, finding the right pieces to make it all work.
Exactly. It's a plant-based puzzle. So let's start with protein. That's crucial for athletes building and repairing muscle. Vegan Warrior has tons of good options. Soy-based products like tempeh and tofu, legumes like lentils and black beans, quinoa, nuts, even veggie burgers, lots of variety.
So many options. What about iron? Isn't that a concern for vegans, especially athletes who need good blood flow and oxygen delivery?
It is something to be mindful of. Vegans need more iron than meat eaters because iron from plants isn't absorbed as easily by the body. So you have to be strategic.
So what's the strategy?
Leafy greens, they're your best friend. Cook spinach, kale, collard greens. Lentils and beans are good sources too. And don't forget things like fortified grain products and dried fruits like apricots, all good stuff.
Leafy greens, got it. What about those vitamins that are harder to get on a plant-based diet, like B12?
B12, yeah, it's a big one. It's essential for energy and red blood cell formation, and a deficiency can really hurt your athletic performance. But luckily, we have options. Fortified plant milks, meat alternatives, nutritional yeast, those are all good sources.
So there's a vegan solution for everything. What about vitamin D? That's super important for bone health, right?
You got it. And strong bones are crucial for athletes. Sunlight is still a great source for everyone, but we can also find vitamin D in fortified vegan products. Oh, and calcium. That's another one people worry about.
Yeah, especially with dairy being off the menu, where do vegan athletes get their calcium?
You'd be surprised. Soy yogurt, fortified plant milk, leafy greens again. Beans and tahini are good too.
Wow, my shopping list is getting long. We've covered protein, iron, B12, vitamin D, calcium. What about zinc? That's important for the immune system, right?
Definitely. And athletes need strong immune systems. Good news is there are lots of good plant-based sources for zinc. Vegan Warrior talked about peas, lentils, nuts, seeds, and fortified grains. All good options.
Okay, so it really is like a puzzle. Finding the right pieces to make sure you're getting everything your body needs.
It is. And it really highlights how amazing plants are for fueling our bodies.
I'm sold. But let's be real, some athletes might still be skeptical. Can a vegan diet really keep up with intense training? What about supplements? Are those necessary for vegan athletes?
They can be, especially for picky eaters or athletes training super hard. A good place to start is with a vegan multivitamin that includes B12, and vegan BCAAs can be great for muscle recovery and strong bones during tough workouts.
So it's about listening to your body and supplementing when needed.
Exactly. It's about finding what works best for you. Every athlete is different.
This is all great information. We've covered the fuel. Now let's talk about the engine. What does a workout plan look like for someone who's vegan, especially if they're pushing themselves physically?
Ooh, good question. Let's dive into that next.
So we've talked all about the fuel, the amazing plant power you can get from a vegan diet. But now let's talk about putting that fuel to use. What does a workout plan look like for someone who's embracing a vegan lifestyle? especially, for those of us who really want to push our physical limits.
Well, the cool thing is going vegan doesn't mean you have to totally change the way you work out. The basics of fitness, they still apply. It's all about staying consistent and figuring out what works best for your body.
That makes sense. So I don't need some super special vegan-only workout routine.
Nope. And no need to reinvent the wheel here. But for someone just starting out, maybe new to exercise or wanting to get more active, Vegan Warrior actually recommends a really simple starting point.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Just walking. 10 to 15 minutes a day. That's it.
See? Totally doable. But I'm sure those walks get pretty easy after a while. How do you take it up a notch?
As you start to feel stronger, you can walk for longer or pick up the pace, and then you can gradually start adding in some gym workouts or even some home exercises.
So easing into it is key.
Yeah, especially at the beginning. And, motivation can be tough, even for experienced athletes. So finding ways to keep yourself engaged is important.
Totally. Any tips for staying motivated?
Music. Always a good idea. Put together a playlist that gets you pumped up, or maybe something more chill if you need to relax and focus. And hey, some people actually like to watch TV or movies while they work out. It's like sneaking in a workout while you catch up on your shows.
That's smart. Multitasking at its best.
Yeah.
But back to the workouts themselves. What are the most important things to focus on? For a vegan workout plan, I mean.
Full body engagement is key. It's not just about cardio, although that's definitely important. Strength training is super important too. It helps you build muscle, increases bone density, all that good stuff. And here's where that nutrition timing we talked about earlier really comes in.
Because plant-based protein doesn't stay in our systems as long as animal protein.
Exactly. So that's why the book recommends having a snack or a shake, something with protein, about 30 minutes before A&D after you work out. It gives your muscles the fuel they need to power through and recover properly.
It's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
Pre-workout boost to A&D, post-workout recovery. Smart. Okay, let's break it down a little. Cardio. How often should we be aiming for?
At least 3 times a week is a good goal. And there are so many different ways to get your cardio in. Walking, swimming, cycling, even yoga. Find something you enjoy that gets your heart rate up and you're good to go.
No excuses for being bored. What about strength training? How much is enough?
Vegan Warrior recommends 2 strength training sessions per week, focusing on each muscle group twice a week. Each session should be about 30 to 45 minutes. And you can totally do this at home or at the gym, whatever works for you.
So many options. For people who like to work out at home, what are some good strength training exercises?
Oh, there are tons. Body weight exercises are awesome, and you don't need any equipment. Squats, lunges, push-ups, those are classic for a reason. And planks are great. They work a bunch of muscles all at once.
Those were all pretty easy to do at home. What about people with gym memberships?
If you have access to a gym, you've got even more options. Weight machines are great for targeting specific muscle groups, and free weights are super versatile too. You can really tailor your workouts to your goals.
So many ways to get strong. But honestly, it all sounds a little overwhelming. Where do you even start with this whole vegan lifestyle thing? It seems like a huge change.
It can be a big change, yeah. But it doesn't have to be scary. The book has some really good advice for making the transition easier. One thing they suggest is to take it slow instead of just going vegan overnight.
Okay, that sounds more manageable. What does taking it slow actually look like?
There's this super simple trick. Every time you go grocery shopping, just take 2 non-vegan things off your list. Just 2. And then replace them with plant-based options. It's a gradual shift, and it doesn't feel like you're depriving yourself.
I love that. Small changes add up over time.
They do. Another tip. Always eat something before you go grocery shopping. We've all been there, right? Wandering the aisles on an empty stomach and suddenly everything looks good.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that.
So eat first. And honestly, planning ahead is huge. Meal prepping, making sure you have snacks ready to go, that's your secret weapon.
Especially when you're busy and on the go, having those healthy options ready to grab makes a huge difference. So preparation is key. But what about just the mindset shift? How do you make this a lasting change?
It's all about staying curious. Read books, find new recipes, try different cuisines. The world of plant-based eating is huge. It's a journey of discovery, not just a destination.
It's about expanding your options, not limiting them.
Yeah.
I love that. And the more you learn, the more confident you'll feel about making healthy choices. Well, we've covered a lot of ground here. I think it's time to move on to the final part of our vegan deep dive. Wow, we've really gone deep on this one, haven't we? From the planet to our plates to some pretty intense workouts. Veganism for athletes, it's a whole world.
It is. And honestly, I think the coolest thing is realizing it's about way more than just what we eat. It's a lifestyle, and it can have a positive impact on so many things: our health, the environment, even how we perform in our sports.
It's like aligning your actions with your values.
Yeah.
And it definitely doesn't have to be about giving everything up, right?
Nope. It's more about embracing new things, new flavors, getting creative in the kitchen, all that. There's a whole world of delicious food out there.
And we busted some myths too, right? We saw that you can totally get all the nutrients you need on a vegan diet, even if you're an athlete training hard.
Absolutely. And those stories about vegan athletes, they're not just surviving, they're thriving. Venus Williams, Mike Tyson, Mac Danzig, they're rewriting the rules.
They're proof that plant power is real. But let's bring it back to everyone listening. What are the big takeaways here? What can they actually do with all this information?
Well, the biggest thing is just to be open-minded, be willing to learn. There's so much information out there about veganism, books, documentaries, online groups. It's amazing.
And don't be afraid to reach out to other vegans. Share your experiences, get tips, all that. It can make a big difference having that support system.
For sure. And remember, it's a journey, not a sprint. Don't try to do everything at once. Just start by adding more plant-based meals into your week.
Exactly. Baby steps. Maybe try a meatless Monday or swap out dairy milk for a plant-based one. Just those small changes can make a big difference over time.
Every step towards a more plant-based life is a good one. For you and for the planet, it all adds up.
So true. Okay, as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of veganism, I want to leave everyone with something to think about. What if the way we think about food, our traditional ideas, what if those are actually holding us back?
That's a really good question. Maybe it's time to challenge those old ideas, explore some new ways to fuel our bodies. Who knows what we might discover?
Exactly. Keep learning, keep trying new things, keep listening to your body. You might just surprise yourself.
You definitely might. Knowledge is power. The more you learn, the better choices you can make.
Well said. Thanks for joining us for this vegan adventure. It's been awesome having you here.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and keep pushing your limits.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Lincoln Bio podcast. Want to dive deeper into today's topic? Grab your copy now. Just click the link in the description. Stay curious, stay empowered, and we'll see you next time.